Yo. Good morning, man. Top of the morning. This is another edition of Cashed It with Chris, the NBA betting show, presented to you guys always by the Basketball Forever Podcast Network. We got a lot to get into. We're gonna try to get into as much as possible as we possibly can. Coming off a weekend where I wasn't feeling the greatest, but we still kind of held it down and did a show on Friday and did a show on took the weekend off. But did a show on what did I do a show on? Did a show on Monday, and of course we didn't have any games yesterday. I hope everybody got out and voted yesterday, which is one of the reasons why, the biggest reasons why they didn't allow for any basketball games to kind of push the voting. So appreciate you guys for being here. JR always rocking with me in the morning. KC, good morning to you. Bitsy, yo, good morning to you as well. We gotta I just want to do a quick recap for transparency reasons, like I always talk about. And then after that, we're gonna get into this 13 game card, man. Try to get through a couple of these games. I always like to say that when you get these big cards, you kind of want to hone in on a couple games if you're actually capping the games. You don't want to try to, look at every single spot. It's too much to try to process when you're looking at these games and you're taking a deep dive and looking at every angle. It's a lot. So I try to warn people to find a few spots that they like. And I did that on Monday. Found a few spots that I like. Of course, they didn't go as planned. Transparency reasons. We talk about recap. So let's see. I know that we went specifically. I went not the greatest day. I went 2 and 4. So because I played the Cavs twice, that ended up being a double loss for me in a game that I felt like, of course, they should have won. We saw Orlando be favorites at home for the first time in the spot where I felt like I could back them with them being such strong, first quarter, first half plays. They didn't cover either. We saw the Raptors come in and just not the Raptors. I'm sorry, the Rockets come in and just hit 3 after 3, killed them on the offensive rebounds, even though Orlando has a lot more, size and length down low. So both of those plays lost the first quarter and the first half. I was extremely frustrated about that. Boston got his bag right. They ended up winning the first quarter, won the full game, covered both spreads for me because I got them at a minus -2 for both. Bought the point on the full game, but they covered on the first half, so that was 2 wins. And then of course the Cavs, man, they bit me in the butt, man. It happens, 8-point lead, 12-point, whatever the lead was in the fourth quarter. And then the Clippers started blanketing Donovan Mitchell, so he couldn't get the ball. Darius Garland wasn't the best version of himself. I'm gonna just put it like that. I've won some money with the Cavs already, but I definitely lost some with them on Monday in the back-to-back spot for the Clippers at that. So it happens, man. But we bounce back, we move forward. So overall, 2 and 4 day, minus 3.1 units. Not something that I'm happy about, but I'm looking to get it back today, man. What you guys got in the chat? Brian said, "What's happening? Knicks tonight." Okay, on the Knicks, I wouldn't look to back the Knicks in this spot, but I'm not on that game. What up? What up, Frank? Trey said, "Yo, bro, what's your name? What's the name of that YouTube channel for the players?" I don't know which one you're talking about, Trey. DM me, bro, on Twitter at Crispy Capping, and maybe I can figure that out for you. I'm not exactly sure. I got a lot of YouTube channels that I watch to cap the games. But let's get into today's slate, man. That's what you guys are here for. I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm looking at already, and then we're gonna get off of this thing. But make sure to meet me back here at 5:15 Eastern time. We will be, looking over the games in finer detail as always on the NBA Crispy Capping Show, 5:15 Eastern time. So couple games I did want to talk about though, because when I was looking over, how the games finished. First of all, shout out to the dogs, right? All of the underdogs pretty much covered. If you took an underdog on Monday, they went 13-2 against the spread. So the dogs were covering, man. The only dog that didn't cover, I can't think of which one it was right off the top of my head, but the Lakers, of course, didn't cover. My favorite team. My guys got smacked up in Utah without LeBron, but I want to talk about that Utah game today. So let's get into it, man. Let's go to the first game up. Let's go to the Rockets and the Raptors game. So I'm looking at these games, and the first thing I'm thinking of is what was an outlier for me, right? Like what did I see that I don't expect to see again? In a very similar spot, right? What doesn't look like it's going to translate over again. So one of the things I was looking at was the Rockets, right? So the Rockets last season specifically, I mean, you could do this season as well. I don't think that they've hit it yet, but the Rockets scored 134 points in Orlando. 134 points. So one thing I looked at was the Rockets, and I'll actually pull this up so you guys can see it. The Rockets, and when they've scored, more than 130 points, how do they typically? Excuse me. Still a little under the weather, man. How do the Rockets typically fare when they've scored 130 plus points or more, right? So you guys, let's see. All right, so let me see if I can do this real quick. Let's go to. All right, so I got it up on the screen right now. If you guys are looking, you can zoom in and see that. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. Okay, so this is last year and this year included. So the Rockets have scored 130 plus points 4 times. You guys can see they're 1-3 straight up. They're 2-2 ATS. But they're 0-4 to the under. So what that's telling me is that you can't look for them to score that many points in the next game, right? Like they typically don't come back out and get close to that 130 points, right? You guys can see right here in that game after scoring 130, they're actually scoring 99 points in the following game, right? So and they're giving up 111, losing a game by an average of 12 points, right? Which brings me to this, and I'm gonna stop sharing for right now. Which brings me to this. So then we saw on the opposite side, they're playing against the Toronto Raptors, and the Toronto Raptors lost that game the other day. We know that the Toronto Raptors are an extremely thin team right now. Coach Nick Nurse is having to utilize that bench, especially without Siakam, being in the rotation right now because he's hurt. The Rockets coming to this game as 9-point favorites. That's a lot, right? Like you don't necessarily want to lay 9 with the Rockets with the Raptors without having Siakam. Total in this one is going up, however, though. It opened at 223, is up to 225 now. I think I saw it open at 223.5, is up to 225. Toronto, they're coming to this game off the loss in Chicago, in a game where they only scored 97 points. It was a third game in 4 nights. They had played the previous day in Toronto, and then had to travel to Chicago. So Chicago caught them in a really good spot, especially, like I said, Nick Nurse having to utilize that bench. But, you want to fade the Rockets after a win. You want to back the Raptors after a loss, right? And I talked about this the other day. I actually tweeted it out last night. If you guys saw the tweet, one of the things that I was looking at was how do teams respond after they lose on an ATS loss, right? So I looked. If you guys saw the notes, I wrote down the most profitable teams after an ATS loss. The Kings, they're 3-0, right, undefeated. But then you got the Nuggets, the Magic, the Magic, and the Bulls, right? Most profitable teams after an ATS win. You got the Raptors on there, right? So the Raptors don't necessarily fit this mold, but they are one of the better ATS teams in the league, right? So I think that's something that needs to be mentioned as well. I'm liking the Raptors in this spot, man. I got them rested. I got them being a much better defensive team. And then of course, it's a fade of the Rockets. Like I said, they typically don't back up success with success. If you guys looked at that screen, I'm gonna share it one more time with you guys because I actually missed a key piece that I wanted you guys to see. I wanted you guys to see. Let's see. So this is important right here to me. You guys can see that. This is after the Rockets have given up. After the Rockets have scored 130 points since last year. It's happened 4 times. Look how many points they're giving up to their opponent in the next game in the first quarter, in the first half. And look how many points they're actually scoring. They're scoring 23 in the first quarter, 20 in the second quarter for a total of 43 points. In the first quarter, in the second quarter, look how many points they're actually giving up. 28, 29.8, 29.5. 29 and 29 is 58. You take that 8 and that 5, and you get 59.3, right? So they're getting smacked up 59 to 43 in the second. I'm sorry. They're getting smacked up, pretty badly in the first half. So that's one of the ways I'm going to be looking to play Toronto today is first quarter, first half. I think that they come out fired up. They come out rested. I think that's the biggest part. Toronto is one of the better defensive teams in the league. I think they're ranked 4th. Their offensive efficiency is good, whether they have Siakam in the game or not. So that doesn't really, scare me off too much. And then you get a Rockets team. They're 1-5 ATS in their last 6 road games versus a team with a home win percentage that's above 60%. Also, the Raptors, they're 5-1 ATS in their last 6 games playing on 1 day's rest. So they don't need a lot of rest, but they do need a day off in between when Nick Nurse gonna have to go to the bench. Also, Houston, their offense ranks 21st in the league. Their defense ranks 27th. I kind of talked about this as one of the reasons why we faded Orlando the other day. Toronto's defense, on the other hand, ranks 4th, right? So you guys can see the trends. You see that they're losing the first quarter by 7. They're losing the first half by 17. On my book, the book that I did check to see if this line was available, I couldn't find it, but I'm gonna be looking to back the Raptors early in this one. Probably one of my favorite plays of the day. So moving along, let me get a sip of water real quick, and let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat. The big show. Morning, Chris. What's up? Joshua said Fred VanVleet points and assists. 28.5. He has crazy numbers with Pascal. It's Black Thor. Okay, without Pascal. I like the looks. Markel said VanVleet assists. Fred VanVleet points and assists, 28.5. I like it. I like both of those. He's typically the guy. I watched the post-game conference out of Chicago, and he was just saying, like even without having Siakam, he got to step up. He got to play better. So let it look for sure on Fred VanVleet today. Let's move along though. Let's go to and y'all got plays, man. Drop them in the chat. Let me know what y'all on today. I know we don't got a lot of lines for every single thing so far, but I do like that. Like I said, I'm gonna be taking the Raptors early. I'm gonna figure out whether I want to play the team total or I want to play the actual spread. But that's one way I'm looking in this one for sure. I also wanted to look at looking at the Raptors and just looking at them last year versus the Rockets. They averaged 128 points in the 2 meetings that they played. So I love the Raptors in a bounce back spot after scoring only 97 points last game. They typically, if you look at that too, if you look at one of the other ththings I had written down, and I know I'm on this game for a long time, but it's actually one of my favorite spots, is if you look at the Raptors, this year, even this year, when they've been held under under 100 points, after scoring 98 points or less this year, they've come back with a 119 point performance and 139 point performance. And then we know that the Rockets don't play much defense. It's not going to be a lot of resistance at all. So that's why I'm looking there. Moving along, I was looking at this Bucks. Brandon said, "How do you feel about the Hawks and the Jazz game?" We're gonna get to that one, Brandon. I'm definitely going there because I gotta play. Well, not a play. I got a strong opinion on that one. I haven't played it yet. Waiting for the Trae Young news, of course, but we definitely gonna get there, Brandon. I like that game. So before we get there, though, let's talk about the Bucks and the Thunder. So Bucks and the Thunder, right? So line actually opened at 7 in favor of the Bucks. Let's see what it is now. It's 6.5. So some money's come in on OKC. This is a revenge game for OKC, right? So total opened at 220 and a half. It's down to 219 and a half, 218 and a half. So some money's come in on the under, which I would think that the looking at this Bucks team after a loss, you probably do want to back them, right? But on the opposite hand, Drew Holiday is questionable. He's listed as doubtful with that right ankle sprain. Giannis is listed as he's probably gonna go, but he's still dealing with some left knee soreness. You get the Bucks coming off their first loss of the season in Atlanta, and they got smacked up in that game too. They just couldn't. They just weren't playing a lot of defense. I think they lost that game by 19 points. I want to say it was 117-98. And you get an OKC team that's probably going to be fired up just because they are, like I said, they already lost to the Bucks. They got smacked up to the Bucks, and that was the game that Giannis didn't play last week. It's typically a good revenge team ATS wise if you look at them last year. But 6.5 is an extremely low number. I do expect the Bucks to come out here with something. Even without having Jrue Holiday, I think he's one of the guys that get overlooked on this Milwaukee Bucks team. His efficiency on the offensive and defensive end, his ability to get everybody together. So I was actually looking to back the Bucks until I found out the news about Jrue Holiday. I think I kind of saw that late. And one of the real strong trends that I looked at was the Bucks. They're 4-1 ATS coming off a loss of 15 points or more since 2021. So when they lose by 15 or more, typically their next game back, they win in the first quarter by 6. Even in away spots, they're smashing teams in the first quarter. In the first half, they're winning by average of 9 of 9. Average score is 61-52 in away spots. Running that same trend of the Bucks losing the game by 15. What do they typically do? Do they come out with something? And the trends say yes. They said that they do. Of course, Jrue Holiday being listed as doubtful is big, right? So the Bucks have been extremely profitable in the first quarter, first half. I do think that Giannis probably gonna have something to say, even with the left knee soreness, about them losing. And I think he'll let his game do the talking. Against an OKC team that struggles to score at times, I'd be looking at Milwaukee, even without Jrue Holiday, to get it done early in this one. The Bucks defense typically starts to lack in the second half, and that's what we saw in the other game, right? They won the first quarter and won the first half the other day, and it took a while for Milwaukee to get hot, but now you get the Bucks, in OKC off one day's rest. And I think that they still fired up for this game. I think that, you get a Bucks team that comes out looking to get back on the winning track. So that's my thoughts on that game. Nothing official that I played yet. What you guys talking about in the chat before we get to the last game? Giannis rebounds are free. Yeah, I saw his rebounds last night at 12.5, and they was already at minus 130. That's a fact. Portland, Charlotte seems a little fishy. Yeah, that does seem a little fishy. That spread isn't that big. I need to check on a few things in that Portland Charlotte game. Markel said SGA points. This dude continues to cash, bro. I couldn't talk you off of his points going over. There's an early 5:30 Eastern game. Gonna have to pull up to that league pass at work. That's a fact, Tyler. That's a fact, bro. So real quick on that game. So the Orlando Magic are hosting the Dallas Mavericks and looking for a bounce back spot. That game will be the first game for the Dallas Mavericks away from their home gym in quite a while. They haven't played on the road in a hot little minute. Typically not a spot you want to take a team. Now from Dallas to Orlando is not a long flight at all, especially with a day off. But I talked about this trend earlier. Away favorites of more than 7, because the spread is 7. The away favorites of more than 7 points typically don't do well in that spot. And I had that trend up. I don't know what it is now, but I'm gonna run it real quick for you guys and let you know what I come up with. So this year, and away favorites and line is greater than or equal to 7. 0-8. That's a crazy trend. So I'm gonna actually show you guys this real quick. Look at this. If you're watching on YouTube and you guys can actually see this, even if you're watching on Twitter, look at this. Look at this trend right here. So this is this year as an away favorite, and the line is, and you land 7 points or more. Look at this ATS record. It's an absolute fade spot. You don't want to back Dallas in this spot. I'm not looking to back Orlando. Orlando has played well at home against upper echelon competition, but that don't mean I'm looking to back them in this spot, right? Look at that, 0-8-2. No team has won. Matter of fact, every possession has been, if you see the average score, they're losing by 1 point. And if you go down here to the bottom, You guys can't see it because it won't come up. But that game, let me see if I take this banner off, see if you guys can see it. Hold on, let's see. Let's go to the comments. Yeah, you guys can see. Well, you guys still can't see it, but it's down here at the bottom. You guys can't see it, but this Magic, the Mavericks and the Magic game do come up listed right here, right? Because they're 7-point favorites. That's gonna be a crazy game. But yeah, what's good to everybody in the chat? LJ, I see you in here, my brother. What's going on, man? Yeah, tap in with LJ on Twitter, man. LJ from H Town. That's his name on Twitter too. All right, one more game. Let's get to one more game real quick before I run out of time, man. I do want to talk about the game that was mentioned earlier already. I just wanted to kind of share it about the Mavs game. So I'm gonna stop sharing the screen and get back to this actual Jazz and the Hawks game. I had somebody ask about this one, and this one that I was interested in too. So super hot Jazz team, right? These guys are on fire. They can't lose. They're coming off 3 straight wins, swept the LA night road trip, beat the Clippers, beat the Lakers, come back home, beat the Lakers again. First team in the Western Conference, listed number 1. This will be though their 3rd game in 4 nights, their 4th game in 6 nights, and it's a West Coast road trip. So you went from LA, where you were there for probably about 4 days between the 2 games with the Lakers, and then you went back to Utah on the second night of a back-to-back. You beat the Lakers, who, I mean, that's not really that impressive right now. They're 2-8. Now you get 1 day off and you got to travel to Atlanta. This one seems like a Hawk spot to me. That's what I got for you guys. So looking into this game, man, you also don't want to fade the team that's been at home for a long period of time. We saw this Hawks team look really, really good. If they can beat the Bucks, I think they can beat the Jazz. And I'm high on the Jazz. I like the Jazz a lot. I think I should start with that. The Jazz, I made some money with them. I made some money with them beating the Clippers the other day when I was sick and didn't do a show. And I didn't play the game on Monday against the Lakers, but I did win some money with them when they beat the Clippers. Also won some money with them when they beat the Lakers in the first game. And that number was a small spread. So yeah, for Atlanta, I do want Trae Young to be ruled in, but I think them winning this game and covering it by 3.5, I see it, man. Total opened at 226.5, and the line is at 3.5. Like I said, you got the trade news. He's questionable. Jared Vanderbilt is also questionable, I think, with a groin injury. But this Hawks team, they're turning up at the crib, man. You start to see some of the they just have a really good defense as well. Guys like DeAndre Hunter, guys like DeJounte. We know what kind of perimeter defender he is. The Hawks also, if you just look at trends, they're 12-2 ATS in the last 14 home games versus a team with the winning road record. It's one of the most difficult places to play is in Atlanta. I'd be looking to back Atlanta again today. Like I said, I of course want to wait on the news. We got plenty of time. You don't have to put anything in right now, but I like DeJounte in this game. And like I said, it's not a fade of Utah. It's more so a backing of the Hawks and Utah being in a bad road spot, because the couple losses that Utah do have were travel losses this year, right? We saw this Utah team lose against Houston, right? And I think Houston beat them by like 7 or 8 points, but it was because it was a bad spot, And I think this is a bad spot as well. Traveling from West Coast to East Coast, like I said, 4th game in 6 nights, 3rd game in 4 nights, even with yesterday off. So I like Utah a lot, but I would be looking to back the Hawks in this game, minus the 3.5. And like I said, nothing official yet because we do kind of want to make sure Trae Young is in. But we saw these guys look good even without him in the other day. So that's we at the 25-minute mark. That's what I got for you guys. We did go through 3 games. Like I said, I'm heavy on the Raptors versus the Rockets early. Whether it's a team total or it's an actual spread. I'll have that official for you guys later when it becomes available to my book, but I haven't seen it available yet. And then the Bucks and the Thunder, really wanted to get behind the Bucks, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it with Drew Holiday. And that'll be another spot where I'm looking to back them early. And then the Jazz and the Hawks game. Like I said, I lean Hawks, man, but I haven't made it official yet. Do want to wait on the Trae Young news. And also, player prop wise, because we didn't get a chance to talk about this game, but the Denver Nuggets traveled to the Indiana Pacers today, and the Nuggets have looked good so far, not defensively, but they have, coming off back-to-back wins against the Spurs. And then on the opposite side, you get an Indiana Pacers team. They've covered like 6 games in a row. Miles Turner's back. These guys look good. They're actually playing defense. But a player prop wise, Jamal Murray. I think Jamal Murray goes crazy in that game. The Denver Nuggets are the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league, and you get the worst 3-point defense in the league in the Indiana Pacers. They're giving up 3-pointer after 3-pointer off the make or the miss. So both teams, the Indiana Pacers are allowing teams to shoot 41%, which is the worst in the league, and you get a Denver Nuggets team that's shooting 41% from 3, which is the best in the league. I think Jamal Murray goes crazy. I like his 3-point prop over 2.5. But more so, I like his points at 18.5. I think he probably finished the games with about 20, 25 points. So that's what I got for you guys, man. Appreciate you guys for tapping in with me. Hit the like button and comment, and send me your plays over on Twitter. Over on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, you can come over to YouTube. All of these are always recorded over on YouTube as well. I like to end the show the same way every single time. None of this is financial consultation. It's theory, it's statistics, it's logic, and it's analytics. Use your best judgment when making your bets. Bet with your head, not over it, man. Best of luck. Tap back in with me later, 5:15 Eastern time. For the NBA Crispy Captain Show, I'll give out actual officials, man. Best of luck today, and y'all have a great day.